Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Raj's weekly rant. So I'm sorry I've been MIA for a little bit. I've been doing some side projects, but now I'm back. So today we're going to quickly talk about the earnings week that we're anticipating. So as you know, the market has been very volatile the last few weeks. Plus there was the Trump COVID incident along with the stimulus news. So there's lots of activity that has happened that kept the market in a very choppy, volatile mode. But now finally, we should be able to get some direction now. With the earnings. And right off the bat, we have Netflix this week. So basically, I'm going to share my screen now. I'm going to show you a good resource that you can go check out. It's called Earnings Whisper. So here you can check out when the companies have their earnings and what their estimate is supposed to be, and what the revenue estimate is supposed to be, and then they also give you the actuals, right? So obviously you want them to have a clean beat in both the earnings per share and revenues, and also importantly guidance, right? So that's how you check out this website. So as you can see, this website will tell you all the companies that have earnings and when they have it. And I believe Netflix should be usually near the end of the week is when Netflix usually comes through. So you can see there's Coke, there's Southwest Airlines. So this is going to be important because now you're going to see how well the airlines are coping. So keep an eye on that. Oh, and look, American Airlines as well. So these two are going to be huge because any type of good news here, especially American Airlines, it's heavily shorted. So keep an eye on that. So that's going to be a market moving earnings for sure. And so Dow Chemical. So there's lots of these heavy knock, tons of these titans coming out this week. So this is now we're finally going to see some kind of direction. And obviously the next big catalyst is going to be the US election. So play it small and play it safe. There's going to be plenty of opportunities, and I'm trying to find where Netflix is. It should be see by BIB, Verizon. There's some very big players here this week. So starting this week, so it should be very, very good. So with Netflix, obviously me personally, I don't like to play the stock itself into the earnings because we don't know which direction it's going to go, because obviously we don't work for them, but we can play companies similar to Netflix or to play around them, right? You can get QQQ, for example, the tech index, or you can get Disney, Roku. I personally don't like Roku right now at the spot. I want to actually give a shout out to one of my students, Kayla, who brought this to my attention. And this is called ARC ETF. So, what is an ETF? ETF is basically an exchange traded fund. So, it has a whole bunch of stocks in them. It's almost like a mutual funds, right? But this ETF, they have a prospectus. They tell you, oh, we're going to only invest in, this is the innovation ETF. So, they'll only invest in certain types of stocks, right? So the one way you can see how what they invest in is you just Google it and search and see what type of how they allocate their assets, right? So here quickly you can see that this ETF, 10% of their ETF is in Tesla. You can see 5% is in Roku, things like that, right? So you can see what. So you can just go to top 10 holdings and you'll see what they have, right? So that's quickly on an ETF. So when Kayla showed me this chart, and I'm like, okay, so where would you enter, right? Because you always need to have a good entry point and an exit point, right? Before you even take the trade, you need to know when to get in and when to get out, right? So when you look at this right now, me personally, when I look at this, yeah, this to me is short term. It looks like it's going to pop back up, but with earnings and everything coming up with Tesla earnings too, I don't see much upside for this. I would my gut would be to try and reshort this at 106, and I don't know how well Roku is going to do in their earnings, and Netflix is going to give us clues, right? So the easiest play for me is probably Disney on the Netflix earnings, right? But again, please do your due diligence. This is not investment advice. Just this is for educational purposes only. So please do your due diligence and have proper risk management in place. Right, I would probably take some long dated Disney calls into Netflix earnings, because any type of a clean beat for Netflix should translate well. Even though Disney is a direct competitor, it should translate well to Disney, because Disney, they already told you that they're doing really good in their subscriptions for Disney Plus, and also that they also did a reorg, and they are doubling down on their streaming business. So definitely lots of momentum for Disney coming up. So that's for Netflix, and now we need to wait for Apple, Google, and Amazon. Amazon will be very good too, because you need to see how well they're doing with the whole pandemic, right? How much expenses they've been shelling out to make sure they have inventory, and everything's flowing seamlessly, right? Even during the pandemic, and they were able to pretty much deliver all the items. So we should be able to see how well they're doing. So those are the couple of things, just be mindful. The next 2 weeks is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be pretty volatile. So please, play small, and just, basically just wait for, if you want to play Netflix, just wait till after the earnings, and you should be able to get a clear direction on which way it should go, right? And even like Tesla, like look how much Tesla has gone up already, in like the last year. So it's already up like 10 times. So again, for me, from a risk management point of view, there's a no trade for me here, right? There's no real edge. Like in my previous videos I mentioned, I would definitely buy a Tesla down here in the 300s areas, and that, if you have done that, you would have been pretty good right now. But obviously you have to take your profits, right? You don't hold on when you see some gains, like 10-20% gains. You take your profits, and then you can always enter back later, right? Or you buy your long dated calls and things like that, and you take your profits along the way, right? And that's what you have to do, because the market's very volatile, and we don't know exactly which, we can, next thing you know, we could be at all-time highs, but then with the election coming up, we really don't know. It's going to be extremely volatile. So please be safe out there. And if you guys do want to learn more about finding good entries, trade management, psychology, and things like that, I do offer classes. So you can please contact me at james and financial management at gmail.com, and reach out to me, and we'll set something up, and you'll, by the end of those classes, you'll know how to trade options, about stops, the entry points, what type of edges, there's different type of edges. So where to get your ideal entry points, where to get out and take your profits and leave runners, things like that. Market psychology, and and cryptos, right? How to open up a crypto account, what they are, where to buy them, so things like that, right? So you're ready for the future. So those are some of the things that we teach you. And finally, I want to give a shout out to Creations by Rajita for um, doing a wonderful job with this canvas here for my company. So thank you again for Creations by Rajita. Please give her a follow on her Instagram page, Creations by Rajita. And yep, and if you like my videos, please hit like, and please leave comments, and let me know what other types of videos you guys want to see, because I'm more than happy to share my knowledge and try and get people that are good in any other respective fields to come and talk, and grow your knowledge base, right? Because now more than ever, financial freedom, financial knowledge is extremely important. Especially, we are, as I've mentioned before, we are going into a down phase in the economy. So it's very important to not like panic, but be ready for unique opportunities that are going to come. And of course, with any type of crisis, there's opportunities. So definitely, we're going to get a lot of opportunities coming, and probably one of the best opportunity in the next decade. You're probably going to see it very soon. So yeah, please email me and connect with me, and we'll go from there. Have a nice weekend, guys. Ciao.